As we've seen gold hit all-time highs in India, UK, Taiwan, China, Japan, Australia.
We had given a guidance of about 15% for the gold loan growth. I think we will stick to that. We will be able to achieve that for the full year.
Gold prices have notched another all-time high this week, both globally and in India.
Do you know as of year 2022, aviation industry is 1,09,000 crores. Pharmaceuticals industry is nonsensical 4 lakh crores. But let me shake the ground under your feet. Gold loan industry is bigger than the pharmaceuticals industry and aviation industry with 4,61,000 crores. I'll give you a few seconds to dice that data, then I'll level up the game. From year 2020 to 2021, the demand for gold jewelry increased from 315 tons to 610 tons. That is the growth rate of 93%. So not just it's a big market, it's growing at an insanely rate. Do you think that's the fun part? Let me level up the game again. Only 35% of that market is organized market. That is, the gold loan is accessed through bank, Nidhi banks and NBFCs at the rate of 4 to 24% of interest rates. And still, 65% of that market is highly unorganized, where the gold loan is accessed through pawnbrokers and money lenders at the rate of 25 to 50%. So if you start a gold loan business today, let me tell you how safe is this business because of 3 major reasons. Firstly, RBI has increased the LTV value from 75% to 90%. It means if a customer comes to you with a gold value of 1 lakh rupees, you can give him the loan of 90% of that value, that is 90,000 rupees, which is impossible in the unorganized sector. Also, people are already paying 25 to 50% in the unorganized sector, and they have to pay only 4 to 24% interest rate in the organized sector. So it's very easy to pull the customers from the unorganized sector to the organized sectors. Secondly, gold is an emotional asset. It means people do not want to lose their jewelry or any assets they have given. So the default rate from the customers is extremely low.
For a gold loan company, asset quality or the NPA is never a barometer or never a check from the asset quality, because the asset is always gold, good quality.
Thirdly, gold is an appreciating asset. It means if you have gold as a collateral, the chances of losing money as a business is extremely low. So my question over here is, if gold loan industry is bigger than the pharmaceutical industry and aviation industry, 65% of them is highly unorganized, where it's extremely easy to pull out the customers from the unorganized sector to the organized sectors. And on the other side, as a business, it's a very safe business. Then why the hell more and more companies, more and more startups are not flocking to capture this market? Hello everyone, my name is Vivek Kumar, and today in this case study, we'll learn 2 things. Firstly, how Muthoot Finance consistent strategy helped them to become the market leader in the gold loan industry. And secondly, as a future entrepreneur and business manager, what is the key takeaway from this case study? Muthoot Group are the first few in the industries who realized the potential of gold loan way back in the 1940s. But they have a history prior to that, which dates back to 1887, when the father of Muthoot Group, N. Mathai, started his first business of timber and ration trading in the small town of Kozhancherry in Kerala. He had 2 elephants to log the timber from one place to another, and hence the logo of Muthoot Group with 2 elephants in them. But interestingly, Muthoot is not the family name of the promoters of the Muthoot Group. They belong to Thevarvallil family. Muthoot is the name of the plot of the land in which the great-grandfather of the family bought. He built a house on that, and hence it was called a Muthoot house or the house of Muthoot. And if we explore the house of Muthoot, Ninan Mathai or N. Mathai had 4 sons, M. Ninan, M. George, M. Matthew and M. Thomas, the youngest one, who was fondly known as Papa Chan. Today, the generation of M. Ninan are the promoters of Muthoot Mercantile Limited and have around 230 plus branches. The generation of M. George are the promoters of Muthoot Finance Limited and have around 6,100 plus branches. The generation of M. Matthew are the promoters of Muthoot Mini Finances Limited, which operates in 840 plus branches across the nation. And the generation of M. Thomas are the promoters of Papachan Muthoot Fincorp Limited, which have the excess of around 3,650 plus branches around the nation. And if we combine the branches of all four businesses, they have more branches than ICICI Bank, India's second largest bank HDFC Bank, and also Canara Bank with more than 10,800 branches. By the 1920s, due to misfortune, the family was in utter poverty. When the eldest son, M. Neenan, who was only 15 back then, stopped his schooling and started his own provision store to sustain the family of 10. While the second brother, M. George, who continued his studies and later joined the army to fight in the Second World War. And the other two brothers joined his eldest son to help in the business. But unfortunately, in the year 1943, a few days of illness took the life of M. Neenan. M. George was still in the army back then. When M. George returned back, he joined his other brothers and started a chit fund in partnership with his father. He named it M. George and Brothers. But soon enough, by the 1950s, M. George realized that more and more Malayalis are migrating out of the nation to the Gulf nations in search of jobs. And they had this urgent need of finance to fund their traveling expenses and visa expenses. And chit fund alone was proving inefficient to fulfill that need. And hence the formalization of gold loan come into existence. And today, we'll specifically talk about the Muthoot Finance, the company which was formed by the generations of M. George, the second brother. In the next 2 decades, Muthoot Finance has crossed 50,000 crores of market capitalization. They have 2 lakhs customers visit every day and around 187 tons of gold in their locker. So the question over here is, if the market was so big, customers were ready, and competition was so low, what's so great about Muthoot Finance? What's so great about their strategies? And I'll repeat the first question again. Why many companies and startups are not flocking to capture this market? And the answer to both of the question lies in understanding the biggest hurdle of an NBFC business. See, there are only 2 ways through which a company can start a gold loan business, either through starting an NBFC business or through a bank. But the entry barrier set by RBI to start a bank is so huge that NBFC remains the only convenient option to enter this market. But there is a very big hurdle for an NBFC business. Let's understand this hurdle through 3 business models. Let's say you started a small trading business of a provisionary shop. You invested 5 lakhs for establishing that business. Then you invested another 10 lakhs for buying the goods and you sold them for 15 lakhs. After paying some of the expenses and keeping aside a few amount for profit, you reinvested 12 lakhs for buying the goods for the another cycle of business. So there is a rotation of money going on for the growth of your business. Moving on to another kind of business. Let's assume you want to start a bank. The entry barrier created by RBI to start a bank is 500 crores. Let's assume you have 500 crores and started a bank. And you are allowed to lend 80% of that is 400 crores of it. Now you lend the whole amount at the rate of 15% for 1 year with the hope to get 460 crores by the end of the year. Now you cannot wait for 1 year for receiving your money and revenue because it will affect the growth of your company. So you start accepting deposits and you use that money to lend further. Now even in this case, you can continuously rotate your money and grow your business. Now let's understand the pain point of an NBFC business. This time you started a gold loan NBFC. The entry barrier created by RBI to start an NBFC is 2 crores. Let's assume you have 2 crores and started an NBFC. Now similarly, you lend the entire 2 crores for 1 year at the rate of 10% and kept gold as collateral. Now again, you don't want to wait for 1 year for your revenue because it's highly risky and you want to grow your business. But the problem with the NBFC is that you cannot accept deposits unless you have a very special license of accepting deposits from RBI, and hence the NBFC gets stuck to rotate and grow their business. So the only way the NBFC can grow their business is by raising finance from the market, either through equity or debt. So the success and the failure of an NBFC business completely depends on their capability on how efficiently and how cheaply they can raise funds through the market, either through equity or through debt. And hence this is the biggest hurdle for any new company to enter and survive in this industry. Actually, there are many companies who are indeed entering this market, but they are unable to survive because of this hurdle. RBI has cancelled the certificate of registration of 3,110 NBFCs between FY15 to FY 2022. with around 1851 NBFCs only in FY19, and they are expecting a bigger number in the FY24. And one of the major reasons is the compliance of capital requirement. But if it is such a big issue, then how did Muthoot Finance manage to do that? Well, there are three major reasons what helped Muthoot Finance to achieve what they have achieved. Firstly, they started very early, so they got the first mover advantage. Secondly, they started and dominated the South India market first. Thirdly, they really understood the pulse of the customers and used concept selling to enter the market. Let's understand these three strategies one by one. See, gold loan is a trust-based business, and since Muthoot Finance is in the industry from a very long time, and they are the first few who really organized this industry, they got the necessary time to build the trust.
The customer has to trust you first to bring his gold of 100 rupees and take back 75 rupees from you.
So as a new entrepreneur who is interested to enter this market, by the end of this video, I'll give you the necessary data to crack this code. If you look into the map of India, most of their branches are highly concentrated in the South India market. And the behavior of the South Indians with the gold is very different from the behavior of the North Indians with the gold. If you look into this research paper released by IIT Kanpur, even though ancient entire India was highly abundant with gold, specifically after 19th century, most of the gold mines were highly situated and concentrated only in the South Indian region of India. And South Indians do not have this very possessive attitude to protect their gold like the North Indians.
When we actually ventured from South, we are a South-born company. So we ventured into North probably about 35 years back. The concept of an organized gold loan business was not there in North at all. Whereas it was relatively okay in South.
Yeah.
So when we went to Delhi, there was such a big resistance from people. People saying that जान जाएगा फिर भी हमारा गिरवी नहीं रखेगा, हमारा ornaments का गिरवी नहीं रखेगा. But then we had to do a lot of concepts.
And it makes sense, right, to start and expand a gold loan business in the region where the gold is very abundant. So first they established their foot firmly in the South Indian region, then they expanded to another part of the nation. Thirdly, they understood the very pulse of their customers and they used concept selling to enter the market. For whom it's a new term, concept selling is a selling technique in which the seller do not sell the product itself, but sell the emotion that you will get after buying that product. For example, the insurance companies, in which the companies do not actually sell the insurance, but they sell the idea of how safe you will feel, how comfortable your family will live after you die, and hence the product. So let's understand this by comparing the ads of Manappuram Finance, who is in the same segment, with that of a Muthoot Finance.
धुराम की है कहानी जब घर आई तंगी परेशानी किसके आगे हाथ फैलाई सोचत सोचत नींद लगाई तब सपने में पप्पा एक कान खींच कर ये समझाए सुनो बेटा बुद्धूराम जब घर में पड़ा है सोना तब का है कोरोना.
So the very basic psychology behind this advertisement is to take gold loans when you are insolvent, which is in my sense is a very anti-Indian behavior. Gold is the last thing any Indian wants to keep as collateral if they are in a worse time. Also, the market segment becomes very small if this idea of gold loan is sold. Now let's look into the idea of gold loan sold by Muthoot Finance.
कहते हैं सपनों के बिना जिंदगी अधूरी है क्योंकि ये सपने ही तो है
My dream,
जो हमें हमारी मंजिल देते हैं.
my dream is
माय ड्रीम,
मेरा सपना
माय ड्रीम स्पोर्ट्स का.
be my own boss. Home,
होम,
publish my book.
दुनिया की सैर.
My own boutique.
My dream is to study abroad.
और सपने पूरे करने के लिए चाहिए मेहनत, लगन और
पैसा.
पैसा
Money.
पैसा
और वो देता है मुथूट फाइनेंस गोल्ड लोन. आप भी अपनी सोने की पावर को जगाइए और हाँ, सपने जरूर देखते रहिए. 124 सालों से मुथूट फाइनेंस करें सपने साकार.
From the very beginning, Muthoot Finance has tried to sell the idea of gold loan as a lifestyle asset. That is, if you want to grow in a business, you should take a gold loan. If you want to take education in the foreign, you should take a gold loan. Like it's an everyday asset. And they have been very highly successful in continuously doing this through the campaigns of Sunehri Soch or the Soch Badlo campaign.
सपनों को सच में बदलने का इरादा है सुनहरी सोच. हर बाधा पार कर आत्मनिर्भर बन जाना है सुनहरी सोच.
Where they are trying to educate their customers and break the stigma of using gold as the collateral for taking loans. And as a result, there are more than 2.5 lakhs customer visits in their branches every day. The successful implication of these strategies ultimately helps them to demonstrate their capability to convert capital into high profitability, which ultimately helps them to increase their credit ratings. And credit ratings are the primary factor to get any unsecured loans. And unsecured loans is one of the primary source of finance for any gold loan business. So better the ratings, the easier and the cheaper unsecured debts you will be getting from the market. There is a strong belief in Muthoot Finance that do not focus on valuation, focus on value. So as a future entrepreneur, business manager, the key takeaway from this case study should be that you shouldn't jump into any industry just on the basis of how big that industry is or how profitable that industry is. The primary focus should be, do you really understand that industry? And like I promised to share the relevant data to crack the code of gold loan industry, like this KPMG report, which compares the states with the amount of household assets they have in gold, with the amount they use that gold to take loans. In easy words, the people of Goa have a mammoth 20% of their total household assets in gold, but they use that as collateral for only 4% of their total debts. Similarly, Tripura, Sikkim, Assam are among the least penetrated areas with huge potential for gold loan business. That's why even Muthoot Finance is releasing their ads in Assamese. If you really understand the industry backed by this kind of data, it's much easier to build the trust among the consumers of that industry, and hence you'll be able to survive in the long run. And that's the end of this case study. If you found anything valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.